Weekend readings. Why does the stock market fall after the company reports excellent results? This earnings season, investors have been especially sensitive to the predictions of corporate executives, while they pay attention to whether a company has beaten or missed consensus estimates for sales or earnings. The key scorecard is how a company's predictions for performance over coming quarters stack up against what Wall Street analysts had previous predicted. Facebook parent Meta Platforms FB plus 0.03% was one example earlier this month. This week's examples of disappointing outlooks include Roku minus 23.25% and Shopify Shop plus 0.91%. Both stocks plunged by more than 25% in the aftermath. Here's a look at where Shopify ranks among 15 e-commerce companies that are expected to grow sales the most through 2023. Related, inflation, tension in Ukraine, and other factors put margin relief hopes at risk. Nvidia follows the pattern. Getty Images Wallace Witkowski broke down what could only be called an amazing set of financial results. For Nvidia minus 2.04%. The company's outlook for the next quarter is for higher sales than analysts had previously expected. Yet the stock declined 8% in the trading session after those results. It's time for a deeper look at Nvidia. Only 2 stocks in the benchmark semiconductor index beat Nvidia when ranked by these 3 measures as Nvidia stock drops. After record-breaking earnings, analyst wonders, what more can you ask for? Opinion. Nvidia's core businesses are still growing rapidly, but 2 rare risks have emerged. You've planned it all out. But what if you run out of money when you're retired? Alessandra Melito writes the Help Me Retire column. This week, a retired couple is using a combination of income sources to pay for their housing in a community with progressive care. A fear is running out of money if a higher level of care is required for many years. Here's how they might work through that scenario. You took Social Security at 62 and regret the decision. Now what? Getty Images iStock photo. The longer you wait until age 70 to begin receiving Social Security benefits, the higher those payments will be. It's easy to recommend waiting as long as possible, but there are many reasons people might decide to take them as early as age 62 or be forced to do so. What if you take Social Security early and later on determine you made a mistake or otherwise decide to go back to work? Jim Blankenship shares some math while taking a deeper look at how Social Security works, and the results are very encouraging. The hidden financial risks of swapping homes. Getty Images Jacob Passy writes the Big Move column, and this week helps a woman who with her husband is thinking of swapping homes with their in-laws who have a larger home and wish to downsize. Here are the tax-related problems they will need to avoid. More housing coverage. The housing market is set for a sustained softening. New home construction falters, even as builders secure more permits. Existing home sales defy expectations, rising higher to kick off 2022 value stocks during the long bull market. Holding shares of rapidly growing companies trading at high valuations to earnings was a winning strategy. Now, with inflation at its highest level in decades and with a cycle of interest rate increases expected from the Federal Reserve, value-oriented strategies are gaining popularity. Mark Holbert shares new research into how well value strategies have served investors over the long term. The results may surprise you. More from Holbert. High-flying growth stocks have returned to earth. Are they now undervalued? Microcap stocks could rake in the cash from these mega-rich buyers. How Apple affects your index fund's return hinges on this one crucial investment decision. More on value stocks. 10 tech value stocks that at least 75% of analysts rate as a SPY. Right now, stocks for a tech rebound. Part of the stock market's shift from growth strategies to value this year has reflected a sharp decline in tech stock prices. The S&P 500 information technology sector has fallen 13% this year. Jeff Reeves lists 5 technology stocks, including some off the beaten path, that he believes are primed to lead a tech sector recovery. The dirty secret when investing in line with your values. Investing strategies that take ESG considerations into account continue to gain in popularity. But life isn't simple. A blind look at ESG ratings may not be your best way forward, as Debbie Carlson explained. More on ESG. Tectonic shift to green stocks. BlackRock chart looks beyond oil and gas earnings. Momentum. Opinion. Activist shareholders are pushing companies to embrace ESG and other social causes. But one big question is still unanswered. Verizon's new $1 billion 30-year green bond deal adds to its transparency push. Influential fund manager Green Century tells insurers to drop big oil. Ukraine, what if? A protest in Kiev, Ukraine on February 12. Getty Images. The jittery stock market environment reflects investors' fear of a catastrophic war if Russia invades Ukraine. Signals are mixed every day. Here's how the movements of Russian military units on the Ukraine border are being monitored by satellite. More on the outlook for Ukraine and Russia and possible market reactions. Here's how the Ukraine crisis could end without a Russian invasion. Why gold isn't likely to be a safe haven for your money. If Russia invades Ukraine, the US could help financially strapped Ukraine by scrapping hidden surcharges on its IMF loan. Watch this ETF. If Russia-Ukraine crisis erupts into war, but fund analyst says an even bigger threat for the market is panic in bonds. Corporate virtue signaling and hypocrisy. MarketWatch photo illustration / Getty Images. Twitter companies love to tout their support for good causes. For example, more than 100 signed a letter supporting federal voting rights legislation, but many of these same companies donated money to members of Congress who blocked the bill, as Sierra Linane report. More fun than streaming Netflix or Disney Plus. Landing at Heathrow. Getty Images / iStock photo. Hundreds of thousands of people have been watching pilots attempt to land planes at Heathrow Airport in very heavy wind. Want more from MarketWatch? Sign up for this and other newsletters, and get the latest news, personal finance, and investing advice.